What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner. I hope that you are all doing well. It has been a hot minute since I've been on the channel, but I have been keeping up with all of the news with Disney Dreamlight Valley while I've been away. Having said that, there has not been a great deal of news to keep up with. That's actually what I want to talk about today, just briefly. So it is Monday, the 11th of August, and the Inside Out update is actually due to be out on Wednesday. Now, I say is due to be out. That is a contentious point. It has not been announced. There is no date. We've heard nothing from Gameloft, but it all kind of mixes together and creates a little bit of a mess. And there's also a slight silence from Gameloft since they started teasing this update to now. So we're just going to take a look at everything that's been going on, see if we can identify where the pieces might fall and when we might actually get this next update. So while I was away, and I'm sure that pretty much every single one of you will have seen this by now, they did tweet out a few teasers for this Inside Out update. So they tweeted out, looks like some cold pillows are waiting for some well-deserved rest, and an image of what looks like the different emotions and their kind of bunk beds. I believe that this is from one of the movies. I can't remember if it's from one or two, but you know, this was our first kind of look at a new in-game item, I suppose. I'm guessing this is going to be available in-game somehow, maybe a friendship reward or something like that. So I know that the hype was starting to build back then. I was still on my break, so I was kind of looking at it like, okay, work, they're teasing already. It did feel a little bit early because this was on the 22nd of July, which was nearly 3 weeks ago. Now that did feel a little bit early for new content teasers. So when I say that, I did used to keep track of a little spreadsheet of all of the different types of teasers that Gameloft put out and how long it took between that tease and when the update was released. Very sad, I know, but it was handy. So I did it for all of the 2024 updates. And basically, they usually started with the Star Path teaser, the emoji one that's kind of like 3 weeks, but usually around 2 weeks before the update comes out. So it was most often kind of around 14 days. This being 3 weeks early and it being like a new content image, I was already kind of like, oh, they're teasing that early. That's interesting. So part of me was like, oh, they must be really prepped for this update. They're ready to go. Okay, work, let's go. Can't wait to see it. But that kind of steam that they were building throughout the week of this week that they were tweeting kind of like just disappeared. They did also put out this pretty poorly worded tweet, if I must say so myself. We're feeling all the emotions thinking about what's coming soon. We already knew that it was going to be an Inside Out update from the roadmap that we got earlier in the year, and we kind of guessed that from Sadness's glasses down here on the table from that roadmap. Other obvious choice was Joy, of course, because she's kind of like the main character. But yeah, it was pretty clear that we were getting an Inside Out themed update, which was maybe met with some mixed reviews. I like Inside Out. I enjoy it. I know that some people are still kind of like clamoring for the original Disney princesses. You know, we don't have all of those in the game yet. I know that there's some people wanting more classic Disney. I'll take what I can get for the most part. There's nothing that I really kind of like dislike in the Disney and Pixar sphere, but I understand the wanting of more classic Disney characters. But you know, this was a very big success for Disney. Inside Out 2, I think, is one of the top grossing movies of all time, so it's no surprise that they kind of want to capitalize on that. I know that this is Gameloft, not run by Disney, but you know, Disney will have some say in the direction that Gameloft should probably look to take the game, maybe if it's just a heavy-handed guidance. But I did find it quite funny that they very quickly followed up with another tweet after this, because it does imply that we're getting all 5, especially when they shared this bunk bed teaser that has 5 bunk beds in it. You know, I don't know what happens with quality control at Gameloft, or if there's even anybody that works there that goes, how might this sound? How does this look to the players? Because we can give that feedback really easily. You can't kind of like tweet out these 5 bunk beds and then post another tweet that says we're feeling all of the emotions about what's coming soon and not logically think people are going to put 2 and 2 together and be like, wow, we're getting all 5 emotions. I know I thought that when I first saw it. I know that many other people did. Logically, I knew that we would only be getting 2. They've really never done an update with more than 2, and I think 5 would just be too extreme, sort of like not counting the DLCs. But come on, it's pretty easy to think maybe we shouldn't say that, which is then why I think it was maybe a day or 2 later, they tweeted out this kind of teaser with Joy and Sadness very clearly silhouetted just by here to be like, whoa, 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 no, you're getting 2. Let's just clear that up. You're getting 2. They're, of course, never going to sort of like own up and say, we made a mistake. Sorry about that. We shouldn't have said that. It's just, these are the two you're getting. This silhouette is going to prove it, so be quiet. Trust in your feelings and share with us your best guess at who you think is joining the Valley in our upcoming update. I will say I personally hate this kind of teaser for an update. That's just me kind of like moaning a little bit on my soapbox. It's quite clear who it is. You've just told us it's Inside Out. This is obviously sadness. This is obviously joy. Why are we guessing, besties? There's nothing to guess. Like, it's pretty clear. So it's not a teaser. If anything, it's like a little bit irritating to me, but I'm sure that some people will maybe not know and guess Lumiere or something like that. But other than that, those few teasers that came like all in one go during 1 week, we've not really heard anything else. It was pretty much silence after that. I mean, we did get a small quality of life tease here where they say diagonal fencing coming soon. That was a few days later. And then they put out the hotfix, and then they started the treasure hunt event. So after that, there was really nothing update-wise. There's the banner we got, there's dream snaps, there's these kind of strange recipe quizzes they put out. I don't know, it's just social stuff. And then on August 5th last week, they obviously gave us the Star Path emoji teaser, which usually comes out 2 weeks before the update, though it has come out around about a week before, I believe, if I remember correctly. So obviously it kind of like gives us our first look at the Star Path. These are always very on the nose. They're very obvious. I don't know, we're probably going to get some sort of guitar that plays music, maybe a summertime fox companion, and some sort of ice cream cart. Don't really know what the theme is going to be. I thought it might have been Inside Out themed, but I guess that's quite a hard one to theme against. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that one. I'm not going to do too much speculation because, again, this is a week old. And then, yeah, since then, it's just kind of been like Star Path stuff, the community companion, and mostly the treasure hunt. So I'm kind of like, well, where's the update news? Why was it all in one go? And where is it now? What's next? Where are we going, besties? What's happening? Now, the reason I'm going in a little bit harder on Gameloft than I usually do is mainly because I'm curious of what this comm strategy is. You don't often see things starting to get teased and then get pulled unless something might have gone wrong or the update might have slipped a little bit, which is where I'm starting to land with this. Now, of course, nothing is set in stone until Gameloft give us a date. That is always a given, so we can't always kind of like expect and pinpoint specifically when the updates will come, but we can make educated guesses. We can make sort of, well, factually educated guesses in some cases, mostly through Dream Snaps and premium shop content. So the Dream Snap themes have run out. There are none left in the files. I believe that Guardian Sanctuary is 108, and that is the last one in the files. So at present, there are no more Dream Snaps to come, unless they've stored something somewhere that is very hidden, but every single Dream Snap in the files is accounted for right now, which means they either have to push something server-side on Wednesday, or they have to do a hotfix where they can drop in a little bit more content if the update has slipped and they need a little bit more time. It wouldn't be the first time, I believe, that an update has slipped slightly. If I remember correctly, the Monsters Inc. update was delayed, which is why that gap between the update and the update before it around that time felt so long. I can't remember how long it was delayed by. I think it was just a couple of weeks. But obviously, that has a knock-on effect on kind of like their whole strategy. So if something has slipped with this Inside Out update, that will have a knock-on effect to the Cogsworth and Lumiere update for the Beauty and the Beast return. It will have a knock-on effect to Cinderella, especially with the Star Path links and stuff like that, because those are pretty much fixed. And what we have been seeing recently with the updates is that the Star Path will run, we'll have the Redemption week, and then the new Star Path will start the week after, or sometimes it will even be like a week earlier. So we've not really had a period of time recently where we've had like 3 or 4 weeks between a Star Path ending and another one beginning. So yeah, those implications of having a development cycle slip a little bit does have an impact going forward, and it does make me kind of like think about whether the DLC might be coming into this. Maybe they need a little bit more time or development resources on that. Something might be going wrong with one of the quality of life upgrades while they're testing. So there could be a plethora of reasons why this update might be slipping. And again, it's not concrete until Gameloft confirm it, but all of the signs did point to the update being this Wednesday, so August 13th. That's what everybody was understanding. That's what everybody's working to. Anyone who has access to the files and stuff like that and does their own digging will be able to see that that was the most likely update. Again, because there's no premium shop items left either, there's no new items left, and there are no Dream Snaps. So unless they do go ahead and do a hotfix where they drop some of those in, it's just interesting to kind of like sit back and see what they're going to do with this and where they're going to approach it from and how they are going to manage player expectations. I can already see the replies to tweets. I can see the replies to social posts being like, where's the news? Where's the update news? And we all get a little bit kind of like antsy when there isn't any new content and the gap between the updates. And I get it. And, you know, just play something else for the time being, you know, decorate, do stuff. If it's not going to be like weeks and weeks, then it doesn't really matter. If like it's just 1 or 2 weeks, it is what it is. Plus we're working off kind of like guest timescales anyway. But I do think that communication has never been Gameloft's strong suit. If something's gone wrong, I think that the player base would respond well to them just saying it. If they said, hey players, we did start teasing this update a little bit too soon. Something went wrong in development. We need an extra week or 2. Here's 500 moonstones to your mailbox or something. They don't even need to give a gift, but just some sort of communication, a letter in the mailbox, a tweet, anything. I feel like the player base would appreciate that. And I feel like the player base responds well to that. And it's just fascinating to me that Gameloft have never like clocked that we like that communication, and honesty is usually the best policy with this type of thing because nobody's going to care. Just tell us and nobody's going to care. So yeah, it's a strange one, but hopefully something comes out maybe today, tomorrow. I did kind of wait to make this video because I thought that perhaps they would have tweeted something at 5 p.m. UK time as they usually do, because there have been a few instances where I've gone and made videos like this and then they've kind of like tweeted and I've had to like reset the whole video, redo it, whatever. So, you know, maybe I'm making this video in vain and maybe they will post something in 5 minutes because it's 5 to 6. Who knows? Maybe this video will never see the light of day, but it is what it is. Given that there is not much more news to share and anything that I could like speculate with you about, I haven't done a big speculation video for this update just because I've been away and taking a little break. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see the content they put out. I'm excited to see the premium shop, friendship quests, rewards, items, all of that sort of thing. But given that we don't have anything to get our teeth into on that front, I am going to leave it there for today. Maybe we'll get some news tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Who knows? Probably not. Flatline, silence, zero, zilch, nada. It is what it is. I will catch you in the next one. And I will, of course, see you in the valley.